The Galactic Council had ruled the stars for over 10,000 years. 15 alien races sat in the Grand Chamber on the planet Docker, making decisions that shaped entire civilizations. They considered themselves the peak of evolution, the wisest beings in the known universe. Then they discovered Earth, another primitive species. Council leader Vex announced, his 4 eyes gleaming with dismissal. They have barely left their own planet. Their weapons are crude. Their society is divided. The other council members nodded in agreement. Humanity was nothing special, just another young race that needed to learn their place in the galactic order. Send the standard ultimatum, Vex ordered. Surrender or face destruction. 3 weeks later, a council warship appeared above Earth's orbital station. Commander Turk stood on the bridge, looking down at the blue planet with disgust. So much water. So many fragile creatures crawling on its surface. Open communications, he commanded. On the human space station, Ambassador James stood nervously in the communication room. He had never seen an alien before. None of them had. When the hologram appeared, showing a tall, scaled creature with cold eyes, James felt his heart race. "I am Commander Turk of the Galactic Council," the alien said, his voice mechanical through the translator. "Your species has been evaluated. You will submit to Council authority immediately. Your planet will become a resource colony. Your people will serve." James felt anger rising in his chest. "We are a free species. Earth is our home. We will not surrender." Turk's eyes narrowed. "You dare refuse?" "We dare," James said firmly. "Then you will learn the price of defiance." The transmission ended. For a moment, James felt relief. Maybe it was just a threat. Maybe they would negotiate. Then the weapons fire began. The orbital station held 5,000 people scientists, engineers, families. They had no weapons, no shields. The council ship tore through the station with energy beams, ripping metal and flesh apart. Screams echoed through the communication channels. James watched in horror as the station broke into pieces, floating debris carrying bodies into the void. 3,000 humans died in less than 5 minutes. Commander Turk watched the destruction with satisfaction. "Now they will understand fear," he told his crew. "Send word to Earth. They have 1 day to surrender." But Turk misunderstood humanity completely. On Earth, the response was not fear. It was rage. Every screen on the planet showed the same images: the burning station, the floating bodies, children who would never come home. World leaders gathered in emergency session. Old enemies looked at each other across conference tables and saw the same fury in each other's eyes. "They killed our people," the American president said quietly. "They attacked without warning." The Chinese premier added, "They think we will surrender." The Russian leader growled, "They are wrong." For the first time in human history, every nation agreed. Every weapon, every soldier, every resource would be united. Earth spoke with one voice, and that voice said, "War." General Mike took command of the combined defense forces. He was a hard man, scarred from old conflicts, but his eyes burned with purpose now. "They want to make us afraid," he told his officers. "Instead, we will show them what humans do when you threaten our families." In laboratories around the world, scientists worked without sleep. Dr. Emma led a team studying the wreckage from the destroyed station. Pieces of alien technology, fragments of their weapons. "If we can understand how it works," she said, exhausting but determined, "we can find a way to fight it." 6 weeks passed. The Council sent 50 warships, a fleet large enough to conquer most species. They entered Earth's solar system with confidence. Commander Turk stood on his flagship bridge. "The humans have not surrendered. It does not matter. We will burn their cities until they beg for mercy." The human fleet came to meet them only 5 ships against 50. Turk laughed. They are fools. But Captain Ross, leading the human ships, knew something Turk did not. Humans had spent their entire evolution fighting each other. They understood war in ways these aliens never would. All ships, Ross commanded. Remember what they took from us. Remember the station. Today, we show them that humanity does not surrender. We fight. The battle began. Energy beams lit up the darkness. Human ships twisted and turned, using moves no trained alien pilot would ever attempt. One human ship rammed directly into a council cruiser, exploding in a ball of fire that took both vessels down. They are insane. Turk shouted as his fleet took damage. The humans fought with a ferocity that shocked the aliens. They used every trick, every desperate tactic. When their weapons failed, they rammed. When their ships were crippled, they self-destructed near enemy vessels. Captain Ross's ship was dying, systems failing, hull breached. He aimed his vessel at Turk's flagship and pushed the engines to maximum. For Earth, he whispered, and crashed into the flagship's engine core. The explosion could be seen from Earth's surface. The Council fleet retreated, 20 ships destroyed, others damaged. They had won, technically, but at a terrible cost. No primitive species had ever fought like this. Commander Turk, injured but alive, sent a priority message to the Council. These humans are different. They do not fear death. They fight like demons. We need more ships. On Earth, General Mike stood in the command center, watching the alien fleet leave. They had lost all 5 ships. 5,000 brave humans dead. But they had also proven something important. We can hurt them, Mike said. And if we can hurt them, we can beat them. Dr. Emma entered the room, holding a datapad. Her eyes were bright with excitement. General, we cracked their shield technology. And I have ideas for improving it. Mike smiled grimly. How long do we have? Council reinforcements will arrive in 6 months, an intelligence officer reported. Then we have 6 months to prepare, Mike said. Get every scientist, every engineer, every factory working. When they come back, we will be ready. Across Earth, humanity prepared for the real war. Hidden bases were built on the moon. New weapons were designed. Captured alien technology was studied and improved. Soldiers trained for battles in space and on foreign worlds. The Council had made a fatal mistake. They had provoked humanity, thinking humans would break easily. Instead, they had awakened something primal and dangerous, a species that had climbed from the bottom of the food chain by being more ruthless, more adaptable, and more determined than anything else on their violent planet. 6 months later, the Council's second armada arrived 200 warships. Enough to conquer a dozen worlds. But when they reached Earth's orbit, they found something unexpected. Human ships waiting for them, twice as many as before, with weapons that glowed with captured alien energy. General Mike stood on the bridge of the flagship Vengeance. He opened a channel to the alien fleet. You came to our home, he said coldly. You killed our people. You thought we would surrender. Now you will learn what happens when you provoke the wrong species. The human fleet opened fire, and the galaxy's balance of power began to shift forever. Asterisk. Admiral Cross commanded the Council's second armada from his massive battleship, the Eternal Dominion. He had conquered 12 species in his long career. None had ever defeated him. 200 ships against their pathetic fleet, he said confidently. This will be over in an hour. His tactical officer studied the sensors. Admiral, their ships are different. The energy signatures do not match our records. Cross waved a clawed hand dismissively. Primitive modifications. It changes nothing. All ships, advance and destroy them. The Council fleet moved forward in perfect formation, a wall of steel and energy that had crushed countless civilizations. But the human fleet did not retreat. They charged directly at the alien line. "Crazy humans," Cross muttered. "They learn nothing." Then the first human ship fired. The energy beam punched through a Council cruiser's shields like paper. The alien ship exploded in seconds. Another beam, another explosion. 3 more Council ships died before Cross could even react. "Impossible," he shouted. "Their weapons should not penetrate our shields." On the human flagship, General Mike watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. "Dr. Emma's upgrades are working. Continue firing. Show them what human engineering can do." The battle became chaos. Human ships moved in patterns the aliens could not predict, appearing from behind the moon, striking from above and below. They had studied 6 months of Council tactics and found every weakness. Captain Lisa commanded a destroyer squadron. She had lost her brother on the orbital station. Today was personal. 3rd Squadron, target their command ships. Make them feel what we felt. Her ships dove through the alien formation, weapons blazing. Alien commanders shouted orders, trying to reorganize, but the humans were everywhere at once. They fight without formation. An alien captain screamed over the communications. "They have no strategy." But that was the strategy. Humans did not fight like the Council expected. They adapted, improvised, used chaos as a weapon. Every human captain made their own decisions, turning the battlefield into a nightmare for the rigid alien command structure. Admiral Cross watched in growing horror as his fleet took massive casualties. "Retreat to defensive positions. Call for reinforcements." "Admiral," his communications officer said nervously, "we are the reinforcements." On Earth's moon, hidden weapon platforms activated. Massive railguns, built in secret over 6 months, fired projectiles at incredible speeds. Simple technology, but devastating. Metal slugs moving at a fraction of light speed tore through alien ships like bullets through cloth. "They have weapons on their moon." An alien tactical officer reported in panic. Dr. Emma watched from the Lunar Command Center as her designs proved their worth. "Humans invented projectile weapons 10,000 years ago," she said quietly. "We just made them bigger." The Council fleet tried to retreat, but human ships pursued them. No mercy, no hesitation. Admiral Cross's flagship took multiple hits, shields failing, hull breaching. "Send a priority message to the Council," Cross ordered, his voice shaking. "These humans are not a primitive species. They are predators. We need the full military might of the Council, or we will lose this sector." The message was sent, but it was too late for Cross. A human missile strike hit his engine core. The Eternal Dominion broke apart, and the great Admiral died in the cold vacuum of space. The surviving Council ships jumped to faster-than-light speed, fleeing the system. Of 200 warships, only 43 escaped. General Mike stood on the bridge of the Vengeance, watching the alien fleet run. Around him, his crew cheered, hugging each other, crying with relief and joy. They had won, but Mike did not celebrate. He knew this was just the beginning. "Open a channel to all human forces," he ordered. When the connection was made, Mike spoke to his entire species. "Today we proved that humanity will not surrender. We will not bow. They came to conquer us, and we sent them running. But they will come back with more ships, more weapons. So we cannot stop here." He paused, letting his words sink in. "We are taking the fight to them. We will find their worlds. We will strike their supply lines. We will show the entire galaxy that humanity is not prey. We are the hunters." Across Earth and the lunar bases, humans roared their approval. The war had truly begun. Over the next year, Humanity expanded into space faster than any species in galactic history. They captured Council outposts, studied alien technology, and improved it with human innovation. Every victory brought new knowledge, new weapons, new tactics. The Council met in emergency session on Docker. The 15-member races looked at each other with barely concealed fear. How is this possible? Council leader Vex demanded. They were primitive. They had barely achieved spaceflight. An intelligence officer displayed holographic reports. They adapt faster than any species we have encountered. They take our technology and make it better within weeks. Their combat psychology is unlike anything in our databases. What do you mean? Another council member asked. They evolved on a death world, the officer explained. Their planet is violent, filled with predators, natural disasters, diseases. Every other intelligent species in the galaxy evolved on peaceful worlds. Humans evolved by being the most dangerous thing on their planet. War is in their nature. Vex slammed his fist on the table. Then we will exterminate them. Send every fleet we have. That may not be wise, an old council member said quietly. Every species we have sent against them has been defeated. Perhaps we should negotiate. Negotiate? Vex hissed. We are the Galactic Council. We do not negotiate with primitives. But the truth was becoming clear to everyone in the chamber. They had made a terrible mistake. They had provoked a species that did not know how to quit. That treated warfare as an art form that would rather die than submit. Meanwhile, human scout ships had found something important: the location of Docker, the Council's home planet. General Mike studied the star charts in his command center. Captain Lisa stood beside him, along with Dr. Emma and other key officers. This is their capital, Mike said, pointing to Docker on the display. The heart of their empire. If we strike there, we end this war. It will be heavily defended, Lisa warned. They will have thousands of ships protecting it. Then we will need to be clever, Dr. Emma said with a slight smile. And humans are very good at being clever. They spent months planning the attack. Human engineers built a new type of ship, faster than anything the Council had. Stealth technology, improved from captured alien designs. Weapons that could tear through any shield. The plan was bold, risky, and completely insane. Exactly the kind of plan humans excelled at. 6 months after the second battle for Earth, a human fleet appeared at the edge of the Docker system. 100 ships against a defensive force of over 3,000 Council vessels. On Docker, alarms blared. Council leader Vex rushed to the military command center. How did they find us? How did they get here? They have improved their faster-than-light drives, a technician reported. They are faster than our ships now. Vex felt cold fear for the first time in his life. Deploy all defensive fleets. We cannot let them reach the planet. The Council fleet moved to intercept. But the human ships did something unexpected. They scattered, breaking into small groups, forcing the alien fleet to divide. It is a distraction, Vex realized. But for what? The answer came minutes later. A single human ship, small and fast, appeared directly above Docker. It had used a new type of stealth technology to slip past the defenses. On that ship, General Mike stood in the command center. Open a channel to the Council. Let them see me. Vex's face appeared on the screen, his 4 eyes wide with shock. How did you... Silence, Mike said coldly. You came to our world. You killed our people. You thought we would be easy to conquer. Now you will hear our terms. We do not accept terms from primitives. Vex shouted, but his voice shook. Mike smiled without humor. You misunderstand. These are not negotiation terms. These are the terms of your surrender. He pressed a button. On the screen, tactical displays appeared, showing human forces throughout Council territory. Human ships near every major council world. Human troops on captured stations. The galaxy itself had become a trap. Over the past year, while you hid on your safe planet, we took control of your supply lines, Mike explained. We captured your communication networks. We studied your tactics and found them predictable. Right now, human forces are positioned to strike 200 council worlds simultaneously. Vex's face went pale. You are bluffing. Test me, Mike said quietly. Give the order to attack my ship. See what happens to your precious worlds. Silence filled the communication channel. The council leader looked at his military advisors, who all shook their heads. They could not win this fight. Somehow, impossibly, the humans had outmaneuvered them. What do you want? Vex finally asked, his voice defeated. Peace, Mike said. Real peace. You will recognize Earth and all human colonies as sovereign territory. You will pay reparations for the people you murdered. You will never threaten humanity again. And in exchange, we will not turn your worlds into burning ruins. And if we refuse? Mike's expression turned dark. Then you will learn why humans became the dominant species on a planet filled with things trying to kill us. You provoked us. You started this war. But we will finish it. Vex looked around the command center at his terrified staff. The great Galactic Council, rulers of the galaxy for 10,000 years, had been defeated by a species they had dismissed as primitive. We accept your terms, Vex said quietly. The war was over. Humanity had won. News spread across the galaxy at light speed. A council had surrendered. A young species, barely 200 years into space exploration, had defeated the most powerful empire in known space. Other species watched in awe and fear. Some sent ambassadors to Earth, seeking alliances. Others fortified their borders, hoping humanity would never turn their attention toward them. On Earth, celebrations filled every city. General Mike returned home a hero, though he felt no pride. Only relief that the killing had stopped. Dr. Emma continued her research, knowing that humanity needed to stay ahead. The galaxy was a dangerous place, and they could never become complacent. Captain Lisa visited the memorial for the 3,000 people who died on the orbital station. She placed flowers at the base of the monument, tears in her eyes. We avenged you, she whispered. They will never threaten us again. Years later, historians would study the war and try to understand how humanity had won against impossible odds. The answer was simple, though difficult for many species to comprehend. Humans had evolved in hell. Earth was a violent, dangerous world that had tried to kill them for millions of years. They survived by being adaptable, creative, and absolutely ruthless when necessary. The Council had made the fatal mistake of judging humans by their technology, rather than their nature. They saw primitive weapons and assumed primitive minds. They could not have been more wrong. Humanity took their place among the stars, not as servants or subjects, but as equals. They built new colonies, explored new worlds, and shared their knowledge with species who approached them with respect, but they never forgot the lesson they had taught the galaxy. The memorial on Earth bore a simple inscription that every human child learned. They provoked us. They underestimated us. They paid the price. We are humanity, and we will never surrender. The Galactic Council still existed, but its power was broken. New alliances formed, with humanity often at the center. The galaxy had entered a new era, shaped not by ancient empires, but by the young species that had refused to bow. And somewhere in a quiet office on Earth, General Mike looked out at the stars and smiled. Humanity had proven itself. They had faced extinction and emerged victorious. The aliens had provoked humanity, seeking an easy conquest. Instead, they had sealed their own doom and awakened a force that would reshape the galaxy forever. The age of humanity had begun. The end, asterisk,